My favorite day of the week. It is Third Party Thursday, and we are here to speak with somebody about some football. I don't think he has a Madden rating. All right, so there's no rejecting this guest. No, we bringing him on down, and we're talking New York Jets, LA Rams. So join us after this intro because we live, baby. Boy Green meets Wudi.
Help us get a jet chant here. Going. Oh. Come on in. There you go. Okay.
Third Party Thursday.
Chris, joining us here on the program with the capital P here on the program.
Wow, what an intro. I mean, Boy Green is known for having the intro, but Wudi, that was unreal, man. Thanks for the kind words.
We are men of many names.
My favorite Austrian Jets fan right there, baby.
Boy Green.
It's Wudi.
Welcome to another episode of Boy Green Meets Wudi. It is your boy James Wudi, and we are indeed Wudi, rocking everywhere. All right, we have the boy who became king right here, Mr. Boy Green, Paul Essen Jr. himself. And we are not going to waste your time talking about these reports. Woody Johnson, Madden, Brick, Jack, I don't even know, all right, because all those reports say are things we already knew. Woody's not a great owner, right? That is what we knew. But what we have backstage is somebody, all right? Somebody backstage. I believe we are bringing him on, all right, with hair better than mine. Puts mine to shame. And you know, I'm proud of this. I'm proud of this. But when you see this man, you're gonna be like, Woody, you know, maybe it's time to get a haircut. Maybe, you know, I can just do it live on the show. I don't know. But Sheriff Joe Bags, welcome. Come on down. How you doing, our good sir?
Doing absolutely incredible, man. Thanks for mentioning the hair. I take a lot of pride in this, so thank you.
hey, you know, you are you've done a fantastic job, and you put that pride in the right place because it's glorious.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Well, I have to say this off the top that I want this written on my gravestone. Morning Woody, part of the Boy Green Coffee Club, which we appreciate. He says, I always look forward to Boy Green Meets Woody. I'm not really sure why, but you're entertaining. So, boom. Excellent. Again, put that on the gravestone, baby. Nice.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Not sure why.
So without further ado, Sheriff Joe Baggs, before we get started, I think we should get down to the brass tacks. We should get down to the brass tacks here. For those who don't know, Sheriff Joe Baggs basically is Boy Green and Rams land, doing all things wonderful on the Rams showcase, talking all things LA Rams. And, you know, I think we should just set the tone here right at the beginning here, Joe. And I think the Jets are going to kick the Rams' ass. And okay. I'd like to put pen to paper. I'd like to just make a bet right now. And Woody, feel free to get involved, brother, because I know you like playing wingman and support. So feel free to hop on the bandwagon if you'd like in a hair versus hair match. No, I'm just kidding. Although that would want to get dramatic. Move over, baby. Grab the scissors. Chop, chop. But no, Joe Baggs, I think we should put pen to paper here. We've known each other for a long time, virtually, or whatever that word is. And I think it is time for us with Jets-Rams. The Jets are going to kick the Rams Patuki, and I'm willing to bet on it. I'm willing to put something on the line. If you've got the gonads, if you got the bags to your Joe, Sheriff, to put them on the line.
I'm absolutely in, Paul. I like our bets before. We've done them pretty mild, I would say. So what do you got for this year, man?
Well, here's what I'm thinking. Because obviously you're demented enough to think the Rams have any shot in this game. And I believe, I know, it's unbelievable, to be honest with you. You're on a lonely island there, Bags. But yeah. I'll tell you this. I believe the Jets are going to win. So let's put it up. Straight up. No spreads, no bullshit. Straight up. If the Jets win against the Rams, I want you to buy a New York Jets mini helmet autograph it, Sheriff Joe Bags, with the date of the game and the final score, and I want you to ship it to me, and I'm going to display it in my house like your head on a pike outside of my castle. And I'll tell you this, if somehow, some mythical world, the Jets lose, fat chance, I'll buy a gosh darn LA Rams helmet, and I'll put my Herbie Hancock right on the front page of that puppy with the same details, and I'll send it to your mama's place. Okay? And boom.
Okay. If you send it to my mom's place, that's fine, but that's about an hour and a half away from me. So if you could just send it to me, that'd be great. And then I can get that on my backdrop by when do you think you could get this to me? Because I'm going to need this on my episode. So
to be honest, I prefer you just to buy it now, and you could send it to me, and it could be in my house ready for the post game show on Sunday. Because that's you're going to lose the bet anyway. Yeah.
Well, as long as I've got it on my backdrop for all of the playoff games that I'll be previewing, then it'll be totally good, you know? Okay. Playoffs, by the way, are these games that you get to play after week 18 when your team's missing.
Playoffs. So this is an interesting thing. On my own time, I know we have limited time, so I'll have to Google that on my own and see what that's all about. It sounds interesting. I didn't know the season expanded that far into the year. I was told it was over after week 18, but that's neither here nor there. So, Wudi, after hearing all this, are you on board? Do you want to jump on this bet? Huh?
Well, I don't need a Rams helmet with your signature on it, Boy Green. So I guess I'll pass. I'll pass.
Okay. Well,
yeah, I mean, unless I don't know. I mean, I definitely don't need that helmet. We already know the Rams are going to lay the smack down.
What?
Wow. I mean, it is what it is.
Well, I hear Morning Woody saying this. Woody, excuse me. He said, "I want Joe Bags to sing a Doobie Brothers song," and it sounds like the only reason that Woody made that ridiculous statement is because he must have hit the doobie before we started this show. There's no God's green earth that the guys are going to lose to the Rams, you freakazoid. But I appreciate you gassing up our guest here. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I kind of like this, man. Woody, I did not expect to be greeted in such a positive way on a Jets show, man. I'm digging this, man. It's fun.
Hey, well, I'm a real fan. You know, I'm not blinded by green. I don't see green. You know, I see normal through normal lenses. And Kool-Aid to me, I mean, well, the Jets flavored Kool-Aid tastes disgusting. All right, so I like to just see things how it is. Boy Green. Not quite the same. I know he's all up in the Kool-Aid. He was off for a little bit. He was trying to wean. We put him in rehab the last couple of weeks during that losing streak, but something happened. He escaped. He broke loose. So now he's back on the Kool-Aid and thinking that the Jets are going to win out. I don't know. We might have to check him back in.
By the way, two quick things here because we have a lot of comments going on. Our number one Austrian Jet fan says if we win, meaning the Jets, he will buy 5 shirts from the Boy Green fan shop, which is always in the link down below. So, Austrian Jet fan, feel free, baby, and you can buy those right now, as I already said.
So does that mean if the Rams win, I sell 5 Ram Showcase shirts?
There you go. That's obviously that's the only way that bet makes any sense whatsoever. Yeah. And Badshaw, another member of the Boy Green Catholic Club, says if Rams win, Paul shaves his beard. If Jets win, Joe shaves his head. I think me and Joe can both agree. Jesus, good Lord, that got aggressive quick.
I wouldn't do that to you, Paul, and I wouldn't think that you would do that. I would hope that you wouldn't do that to me.
No, those beautiful locks are staying intact. You may want to pull them out at the end of the Rams game when the Jets are kicking your ass, but that's neither here nor there.
You're going to stay intact no matter what happens if that's the bet.
Okay, there you go. Well, anywho, so we do have that bet, though, is official between me and Joe as we virtually shake our hands here. Again, if the Jets beat the Rams, okay, Joe's buying a Jets mini helmet, autographing it, sending it here, and it will be displayed. And we'll place this beautiful mini helmet from John Riggins, Hall of Famer. I appreciate it. Sorry, John, you're getting pushed back for Joe Bags. And then vice versa. If the Rams win, I will be grabbing that Rams helmet, autographing it with a big, juicy, fat Herbie Hancock, and it'll be coming the other way. So can't wait. Without further ado, Woody, why don't you get this party started here?
We'll get it started. All right. The Jets and the Rams are playing. A lot of fantasy relevant players are playing. And I feel like that brings me to Cooper Kupp, who let a lot of people down. And I want to know the part A, part B, 2-parter, right? Fantasy purposes. Sit or start Cooper Kupp. And then in real life, I mean, this guy, he had one of the most historic seasons in NFL history not too long ago. And we obviously know, Puka then had a historic rookie season. Has followed up playing well. Is Cooper? Is he 1B? Is he wide receiver 2? Like what is that? Is he what? Like who is the guy? Who is the guy?
Interesting. Okay, so that's three questions there. Okay, so let me knock these down.
I can't even count.
So fantasy wise, first of all, let me make this very, very clear to you both and anybody who's listening. The only person that cares about your fantasy football team is you. All right. Don't talk to other people about it. It doesn't matter. Nobody else cares. All right. Second of all, on that same topic, fantasy wise, obviously that was a dud of a game, 0 receptions and stuff like that. In the game plan, though, Cooper Kupp was a big part of it still. He was more of a blocker in that setting, but obviously he's a wideout. You want wideouts to catch footballs. I obviously understand that. Let's also not forget, though, that this was a 12-6 win for the Rams in a rain game, in a division game in San Francisco. It just wasn't one of those explosive offensive days. Rams only had 160 passing yards, so obviously that has to come into play. As far as what he's going to look like going into this week, as far as fantasy stuff goes, I know we're in the playoffs and all that stuff. I would say confidently you can start Cooper Kupp without thinking that there's going to be a repeat of what happened last week in San Francisco. He is wide receiver 2. I think that Puka Nacua has taken that over. He is clearly getting more targets. He's getting more touchdowns. He's getting more receptions. He's getting more runs now on the jet sweeps and all that. He has really taken over Cooper Kupp's number 1 role. Even though they really are 1A, 1B, it is the Puka Nacua show. And Cooper Kupp is kind of doing some cleanup work there, and also helping out such a ton in the run game. I don't know if you guys check out, watch tape or games or anything like that, but if you watch that game, Cooper Kupp was definitely a big part of that game. And then I already forgot your final question there. What was that one?
No, well, I think you answered it because it was the fantasy implications, and then Kupp versus Nacua. Who was better, not who was better, but who's
number 1? The title that we talked
about. And I mean, there's no real we can look at that as a good or a bad thing if you want to, but I think it's a neutral thing. I mean, Puka Nacua came in as a 5th round pick and is just absolutely on fire. And we see what he can do on a football field. So getting the football into his hands is not a bad thing. Cooper Kupp is a very good football player as well. But when the ball goes to Puka, really good things happen for the Rams. So I think they're right to keep forcing that connection.
Well, Joe Bags, I appreciate you breaking down the run blocking impact of Cooper Kupp. That's funny. After you broke that down, I went back to review what fantasy stats I get for run blocking, and it was the same amount I got for his receiving, which was a big fat 0. Thank you very much.
But you know me, Paul. And for those who don't, I don't care about fantasy football at all. As long as the Rams win, I don't care. Rams can win 3-0 every single week, and I'm fired up about it. As long as the Rams have more points than the opponent every week, I don't even check my fantasy team. So I don't care.
So one person who would be responsible for helping the Rams put up points is former Jets ace Mike LaFleur. I'm curious, what has been the Mike LaFleur experience? Because the Jets and him mutually part ways, which, as I joke all the time, is how I've broken up with every girlfriend in my life. It's always been mutual. I've never been dumped. It's always mutual. So that mutual of parting ways, right, of Mike LaFleur, he lands on his feet, and a lot of Jet people are like, whoa, Sean McVay, offensive wizard, Mike LaFleur, OC job. Like, that's a good gig. So how has Mike LaFleur performed as the OC there in Ramsland?
Certainly not poorly, but it's also very hard to assess considering this is Sean McVay's offense. It's easier to give that kind of answer on a defensive coordinator and the impact and stuff. But I mean, Mike LaFleur came in to, be the offensive coordinator, which in the Rams organization means you are the Rams offensive assistant. So hard to kind of gauge, but I would say this offense, especially now in recent weeks, and I know we're coming off of a rough one there, but you go before that, looking at the Bills game and even back to, Philadelphia wasn't a terrible game offensively, stuff like that. So, I think that his impact is there, and the Sean McVay offense, I think, has been a little bit reined in. He's a little bit less loose, I think, with some of his decision making, and I do think that is the Mike LaFleur effect. And that's kind of the comments that we do get from Sean, though, saying that he kind of keeps him in line on certain things, like, hey, let's not abandon the run, because we Rams fans know that Sean McVay loves to abandon the run if like the first 3 get like 4 yards, and he's like, all right, never mind then. So that kind of stuff has been beneficial. So Mike LaFleur, I mean, he's obviously a good coach. I'm sure you guys know that as well. So having him in the organization has been good.
I wish more people knew, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I did. I was very upset to see him go. But I'm glad that he is, like Paul said, he has landed on his feet at a great organization. A great organization indeed, actually. I was expecting you guys to be in the wild card, and now all of a sudden, you guys might win the division. My Lord. Just quick question, curious question. Were you expecting to be in this place? I mean, I know that the Niners, right? The Cardinals all of a sudden were leading the division for a lot of the year. What was your expectation heading into the season versus now where you guys are, where you're ready to compete for a title?
Well, it's really interesting. This season has a lot of similarities to last season, which is a slow start. The Rams last year started 3-6, and then were able to really put it together at the end of the year and make their way into the playoffs. Where, let's be real here, the football gods were not going to let the Detroit Lions lose that game in the playoffs. It was their first time hosting a playoff game since 1991. That was just going to happen, so we just happened to be the opponent in that one. But going into the season, because of how that last season ended, I mean, Rams fans' hopes were real high, but then training camp, preseason, injuries just absolutely started stacking up. Entered the regular season with just a few starting offensive linemen. We got, A.J. Jackson suspended. Steve Avila gets hurt. Jonah Jackson gets hurt. So we just, and then even backups are getting hurt. So we're just kind of tossing in rookies, undrafted rookies and stuff like that to play. And luckily we're playing really well, but then, Puka Nakua's down, Cooper Kupp is down. We lose Darius Williams on defense. And it was just one of those situations. I mean, Tyler Higbee, this is his first game back actually since that playoff game in Detroit. So finally getting healthy. And so going into the season, I was more hopeful than the start would show, because we went 1-4 before leading into the bye week. But I think that the hope was still there, knowing that like we still have Sean McVay, we still have Matthew Stafford, we still have guys like Puka and Cooper and stuff like that. So the hope was that just get healthy and then it can turn around. Just don't let the season get away from you. And at 1-4, you start to feel like maybe this is a little too far gone, especially you start looking at some of your opponents. You're looking forward, and we got Philly, Buffalo, stuff like that. And it's like, I mean, is that too late kind of thing? And I think that ultimately the Rams were able to get healthy at the right time. This is the first time that we'll have all 11 starters on offense available to us going into this matchup. So this is the first time all season that we'll see that, which is really exciting. And then the defense has been playing much better as the season goes on, but that's just because it's a young group. So my expectations were that the Rams would have a better record than they currently do, but the way that they're playing today is indicative of my expectations. I just didn't think that the beginning of the season would be as bad.
Again, we're speaking with Sheriff Joe Bags here on the show, the architect, the face of the franchise for Ram Showcase here on Boy Green Meets Wudi. Now, among all those wonderful titles and handsomeness that you bring to the table, Rams Insider, information broker, because I know that you have a scoop that you want to share here on the show, that you want to break. And Sheriff Joe Bags, I know this is a topic I'm about to ask that you discussed way back at the beginning of the season on Ram Showcase. I even asked a question about it very early in the season. There were even off-season episodes in which I questioned about this very topic. Is Aaron Donald coming out of retirement for the playoffs? Because I heard all the whispers of the offseason that if the situation presented itself and he could get it all set up, that, hey, now, Aaron Donald slap on the, because he showed up to a couple of events, you would know better than me, Joe, post-retirement, and it looks like he could strap up. So Aaron Donald, he coming back?
It's funny that you mentioned this. On this week's episode of Ram Showcase, I on purpose did not say the name Aaron Donald. I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to be part of this hype. I'm not going to be because I think it's fake hype. I'll be completely honest.
Oh,
with
wow.
you. I don't think Aaron Donald's returning. I think that he's retired, and I think that from my perspective, and maybe this is just me being a very specific kind of fan, but where my brain goes is I want to respect his decision. And so I don't bring up the coming out of retirement stuff. Let him live his life, man. We don't need anything more from it. We've gotten everything that we could get out of this guy. He's, obviously 10-year career where he became one of the best defensive players, if not in the entire NFL history. So, I mean, he won a ring with the Rams, all the All-Pros, the Pro Bowls, all that stuff, man. He owes us nothing. So I think that's kind of where my mindset goes to, of like, if he comes back, it's for him to come back. It's not because we are like, dude, we need you, man. It's like, no, he's done what he needs to do for this franchise. And also, I love the fact that he's never worn another helmet, never worn another uniform. So
pretty cool.
As long as he stays retired and that stays true forever, then I'm okay with that. But you know what? I genuinely don't believe that we see the return of Aaron Donald. And also, I think that there's some weird rules about contract stuff because we're eating dead money for his contract this year. So I don't know what where that kind of stuff.
If he came back, how would that affect things? Right.
Yeah, I have no idea if he's even like technically allowed to, because when Eric Weddle came back for the Super Bowl run, he was a free agent, obviously. Like he had been retired and then kind of reinstated and stuff. So this is a different situation where a retirement, but the contract was still there. He was still under contract for a few more years. So I'm not sure how that actually goes.
But you just said that you've previously had experience with retired guys. Actually, the way I said that probably sounds weird, but anywho, yeah, Eric Weddle. Hey, if you swam in those waters once, you can always swim in those waters again, baby.
Never know. But also, I don't know. Like, I just think that like the way that the question gets brought up to Aaron Donald and his wife, Erica, a lot. And every single time it seems so clear when you ask them straight up,
clearly
like, hey,
shut down.
That it's like, no, that's not coming. That's not happening. Okay. From their perspective, it sounds very adamant that it's not happening.
Okay. Fair enough. Thanks for blowing the bubble there. I appreciate that.
Yeah, anytime you need something, a story completely just destroyed, and to make it, how can we make this really cool story not entertaining at all? I've got your back,
man. This is a debate that I had with my cousin before the season started, and the debate was Kyren Williams or Breece Hall. And I'm going to spare you. I'm going to spare you the details of that debate. I'm not even going to ask you that question because I think the answer, it should be clear. If you're not drinking the Kool-Aid, it should be clear that it's Kyren. If you're confused, Boy Green, it's Kyren Williams. He is fantastic. So what I'll say for you, Sheriff Joe Baggs, is just a simple fill in the blank. Kyren Williams is a top blank running back in the NFL.
Ooh. You know what? The way he's playing, I feel comfortable saying 7. I know that that's not our normal ranking. We don't usually give a top 7. But I do feel like he would be a top 5 back, but depending on the week, because lately I think he's been playing great football. There was a stretch in there where he was having a little bit of a fumble issue, but as soon as the fan base was ready to turn on him and say it's time for Blake Corum to take over the RB1 spot and all that, then he absolutely came in and just started lighting it up again. So Kyren is extremely talented. He's already becoming one of the best running backs in Rams history, which if you know the Rams history of running backs, there's been a few good names. So
Steven
obviously
Jackson,
he's still
Eric Dickerson, come on now. Yeah.
He's still very young in his career, obviously, but the way that he's kind of projecting right now, he is on pace to be right in the thick of the Dickerson, Falk, Gurley, Jackson, in that range. He is on track for that right now.
Interesting. All right, Joseph. Let me ask you this, because I've got, and we mentioned this on your show, we're cross-pollinating here on Ram Showcase and Boy Green Meets Wudi here. I've got a diehard Jet fan, and when he hears this, he's going to lose his mind that this is making it on the show. But we have a diehard fan of this show and my Boy Green Daily show. His name is Ricky New York. He lives down in Florida, so I don't know the math on that. I'd never asked that question, but he's a diehard Florida State fan, and he was pounding the Brutus beefcake for Braden Fisk and Jared Verse coming out of the draft. and he said both are going to be great. And who would have thunk it? The Rams ended up with both of those guys. And I'm just kind of curious from your Rams perspective, the drafting of these players, the development of these players, how they've performed. Give us the telltale. Ricky will lose his mind that we get an opportunity to get that other side perspective of someone who's gotten to see them all season long.
I'll say this, man. Jared Verse has been kind of in the front-running spot for Defensive Rookie of the Year all season. Braden Fisk has more sacks, and he's performing at a level where it's like, hey, maybe he should be Defensive Rookie of the Year. And if there ever were to be a situation in the NFL where they were going to make a co-Defensive Rookie of the Year situation, could you imagine a better situation than that being Jared Verse and Braden Fisk being roommates at FSU together and then being drafted by the same team? And I don't know if you've seen all the videos of the draft day, but when Jared Verse shows up to LA, they're in a hurry to get him upstairs because they're making the pick upstairs while Jared Verse is showing up. So he runs in, they tell him like, hey man, we got to get you inside there. And then as he gets upstairs, they hand him the phone and he gets to talk to Braden right after Les Snead to tell him like, hey man, we're going to be playing together. And that's just top tier wholesome moments, man. They start crying and stuff like that. And you're like, even you as a fan, you're like, this is so cool. Like, absolutely love that. And then you put him on a football field and Jared Verse is out here embarrassing dudes, like veterans, like very, very good players. Like he's, bulling over Mailata from Philadelphia, making him just putting him right on his cheeks. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And then Braden Fisk he's just on fire right now. He's getting better every single week. They both are getting better every single week. To get them as a combo has just been top tier. And there's been a lot of people throughout the draft process that said that, the Rams reached for Fisk because we traded up to go grab him. It's like, that was way too early for him. And it's like, maybe not, because first of all, we don't know what these players are going to do yet, but also let's consider the fact that Fisk by himself is, a certain level of awesome player, but pairing him with Verse was the goal. And that was the combo that was important for the Rams to get together. And it is absolutely working out. I think that they're both in the top 3 in the Defensive Rookie of the Year, like betting odds right now. And that combo, man, the longer we can keep those guys together, it's going to be absolutely awesome. Thrilled to be able to get both of those two together coming from FSU to the Rams. And I know it's a far trip from FSU to LA, but yeah, that combo is working so nice. And pairing that with the Byron Young and Kobe Turner combo that we grabbed last year in the draft. I mean, this front four is sick now, man, especially with those two coming in.
Yeah, well, the Rams, Joe, for people that don't know, when we first came into acquaintance with one another, we talked about, oh, man, that Rams-Jets Super Bowl one day is going to be awesome. And that was many years ago. And the Rams have since gone to Super Bowls and won Super Bowls, lost Super Bowl. Like, they've done their part of the equation. The Jets, unfortunately, have not lived up to that billing. And to all your jokes earlier, the Rams look like they have a great shot at the playoffs. And of course, once you have a ticket to the dance, we'll see what happens. So, it's going to be a little more difficult with this Jets loss you guys are about to take. But, with the path to the playoffs, it's going to be great. So, Joe, it's great. I wish the Jets and Rams played more often so we could do this more often, but I'm glad we got to connect and do this. It's been too long, man.
Dude, absolutely. Thank you so Wudi, first of all, it's awesome to meet you. Thank you guys so much for having me on, man, to talk about this game. I love this matchup. We don't get it very often. We might get it in 2 more years if the Rams and Jets end in the same place in next season. So we'll kind of hope
first
for
place,
that
baby.
so that we can get this. What's that?
I said we'll both end up in first place.
That's right, man. We're both going to win our division, and then it's going to be, I think, in LA for that one. So you'll get to go see SoFi. So come out and see SoFi, Paul. It's awesome.
All right, we're making the road trip, Rudy. Get your plane tickets ready. We're going to LA, baby.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if first is the goal, maybe we might have to change it to second. I don't know. We might have to see. But no, Sheriff Joe, definitely appreciate your time. I'm gonna have to. I don't know. I gotta talk to the folks at L'Oreal. I'm trying to get on your level. I'm trying to, see what I can do to get some.
You got it, man. You got it.
Yeah, appreciate you.
And I'll do this to wrap up the show, just because we have people coming in late. They're asking, "What's this bet between me and Joe?" I'll explain it one more time for those who are just joining us and appreciate it. Like the video, hit subscribe. It is simply this, baby: that if the Jets beat the Rams, Joe Branham a.k.a. Sheriff Joe Bags, will buy a Jets mini helmet, autograph it with Sheriff Joe Bags, the score of the game, the date, and all that jazz, week 15, 16, whatever it is, 16, and he'll ship it over to me, and we'll display it here forever. And then if somehow, like I said, the Rams beat the Jets, I have to unfortunately buy a Rams helmet, sign it in the same way, and send it back over to him. So that's the skin in the game. We'll see what happens.
I'm at work right now, so I can't even show off my sweet backdrop, man.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Where I'll put that helmet. Yeah.
If people want to see it, I joined, Joe Brandon for Rams Showcase. So, guys, make sure you stay tuned to the Rams Showcase social media channels, and you guys can check out that video where Joe is in his lovely confines of his office. But we appreciate the adaptation of making this show happen, Joe. Thank you so much, pal.
Definitely.
Dude, thank you again, guys. Go Rams.
There we go, baby. All right, Wudi, God bless, and happy holidays, everybody. We'll see you.
Yes.
Take care.